Hey friends, and welcome back to my channel. I am back here in my game room today, and that is because the last time I did a deep clean in here, which I think was maybe a few weeks ago now, I did not clean the walls. The last time I cleaned the walls, I think it was winter time, and I used my spin mop and it worked really well. So I wanted to do that again today. I didn't do it on the day that I deep cleaned this room because I ran out of time and energy, steam. So I thought I would do that today. In addition to that, I also did not go through my cabinets and declutter things. And so I wanted to do that today as well. I have been on such a decluttering kick lately. As a matter of fact, if I declutter anything from this space, you might see it in the video that I posted on Tuesday, which is my end of the month declutter with me video, because I know this video is going out after that one. And you will see in that video just how much I decluttered in the month of July. Like I said, have been on a decluttering kick, but I thought I would take you along for some cleaning motivation, some decluttering motivation, and yeah, I hope it motivates or inspires you today. I did forget to mention in this intro that today is Thursday, and on my channel that means Thoughtful Thursday, and this is actually the last Thursday of the month, and so that means I'm going to be sharing with you my thoughts on how my no-buy year is going so far, and this is just the July month recap, so please stay tuned, and I'm going to be sharing my thoughts in the voiceover. Okay, friends, like I mentioned, this is the last Thursday of the month, and so that means I'm sharing my thoughts on how my no-buy year has been going so far and for this month. I know in June, I really glossed over the month because things were just kind of going along smoothly and there really wasn't much to share. I think it helped that I had 2 getaways during that month, one to celebrate my husband's birthday and then another when I went to Tucson. And so I think I was distracted from being tempted by buying things. But with that said, I will say right up front that I failed again this month in the month of July. I will share more about the details and also talk about why I think this month was so hard for me. So I know I shared in May that I purchased a couple of items of clothing, and so I did feel like I failed that month. Although I was able to somewhat make the excuse that I purchased the items for my trip to Tucson. I didn't have a caveat for trips in my rules because I didn't even know I was going to plan that trip. Well, once again, I purchased a couple items of clothing. One was a skirt that was very similar to a skirt that I borrowed from my daughter, and I really loved it. And I decided to purchase a second item to get the free shipping. Now, that's just being wise with my money. Am I right? I'm just kidding. But for real, the only justification I have for this purchase is that the skirt was on sale. And that really got me. I knew I would like it because I loved my daughter's skirt, but I still consider this a fail for the month. I will say the further you get into the year, I think the more difficult it becomes to stick with your rules. I don't want to make excuses as to why I cheated this month. I will take full ownership that I failed. But one lesson I have learned in life that is still hard for me as a recovering perfectionist is that failure isn't all that bad. Failure leads to learning and growth, that is, if we allow it to. I always like to evaluate my failures so I can make better choices moving forward and so I can see the lesson in it. This month has been really tough for me. There have been lots of changes happening. Most of them are good changes, but it's difficult for me to deal with change. As I've mentioned, I have backed off of posting on YouTube in order to pursue growing my organizing business back up. And while this is a good thing, it is still change. There are also a couple of other things going on in my personal life that are also creating changes. But again, they are good things. But with these changes, it has caused my anxiety to spike and my overthinking and rumination to move into high gear. As I've mentioned before, shopping is definitely one of those vices I run to when I'm feeling stressed. All month long, I've struggled with looking at clothes online, walking right into the place of temptation instead of choosing healthier ways to handle my stress. So the lesson learned is that I need to not mindlessly do things, but to be aware of when I'm feeling that stress, or at least aware of when I'm starting to run back to familiar places for comfort. One of the reasons why I chose to do a no-buy year was in order to really deal with this habit I have of shopping to feel better or to alleviate stress. So I must be more on guard and aware of those moments so I can choose healthier options for dealing with my stress. This is a difficult thing for me because I do tend towards perfectionism. Can we really always make good and healthy choices, or is there a balance in there? Please let me know your input on this. I really struggle with this idea because I need to fight against my perfectionism, and so I need to give myself a little more grace. I did want to share a win with you today. Last week, I went into Home Goods to look for some coffee syrup, and this is a random side note here, but this is a great place to find coffee syrups at a discounted price, just FYI. But I noticed while I was there that I was not at all tempted to look through home decor, blankets, pillows, or anything like that. While in the past I might have been tempted to look, this time it was not at all a temptation, and it was quite the contrary. Instead, I was really repulsed by the idea of bringing more things into my home. I'm not really sure why this hasn't translated to clothes yet, but oh well. Make it make sense, people. Make it make sense. But back to my trip to Home Goods. I was browsing through the food, and then I did decide to go to the section with organizing tools just to see what kinds of things were available in case this is somewhere I might want to shop for clients in the future. This was on a Sunday, so the place was packed. There was people everywhere pushing carts full of stuff. I couldn't help but feel like I had taken the proverbial red pill, if you know, you know, and was aware of the truth that none of this stuff would make you happy. As a matter of fact, once you walk away with your purchase, the dopamine hit is done. Did you know that dopamine is released during the actual shopping part? It's the thrill of the hunt, which is human nature. But shopping is short form dopamine, so that up feeling won't last long. And then you are left with this item or these items that you now need to take care of, clean, organize, and maybe one day make a decision about decluttering it. It's a silly cycle that happens if you think about it. You want that dopamine rush, so you shop, but once you purchase it and bring it home, the rush is over. Then you declutter to make more space for more stuff. I personally want off this crazy merry-go-round. Not that I will never buy anything again, but it's just good to be aware of all this. And we work so hard to make this money that we're basically using to buy stuff that we often don't need, and or it creates more work for us. I did just find all of these thoughts just kind of interesting that were going on in my head as I was at Home Goods, so I did want to share that story with you. But friends, this is all I have to share for this month's No Buy Year recap. As always, I love to hear your thoughts on my thoughts, so please let me know down in the comments. And also, I hope you might stay tuned because I am going to be taking you along as I declutter this room for the second half of this video. Okay, now on to the decluttering. I will say I only have like 20 more minutes before I need to go make dinner, so I'm gonna have to make rapid fire decisions, and I'm also not going to clean these cabinets out. I'm only going to be going through the items that are in there. arguably this is one of the hardest rooms to go through because I have some sentimental items stored in here. I have items that don't belong to me, so I can't make decisions on those items. So this is a little bit challenging, but let's do our best. I'm gonna start in these upper cabinets. It's kind of funny because I was thinking about how usually I start over in that corner over there. I'm like, why do I do that? But I guess it's because I move clockwise. So I'm gonna be moving counterclockwise, and I'm gonna start over here in this area, and then we'll move our way around. But I'm gonna start with these cabinets up here. Up here, I just have a bunch of vases, and I don't want to get rid of any of those. That's all that's up there. We used to store energy drinks up there, but my husband and daughter decided to get off of energy drinks. I was so happy because they're just not good for you. But now we have an empty cabinet there because that's where that used to be. And then this, more vases. The other cabinet was kind of like decorative vases, and these are more for like putting flowers out. So I'm not gonna get rid of any of those. I feel like I don't have all that many vases, I don't think, at least for florals. But you know what I do is I use them as gifts, and I will just buy flowers from Trader Joe's and then make an arrangement to give to a friend. And then, you know, I'm like, just keep the vase. So that's an idea. And then I do have some larger home decor items that don't fit in that dresser where I keep my extra home decor. And I want to keep all of this. So that's done. Okay, moving on to the dog drawer. I don't think there's anything I want to get rid of here. I mean, honestly, my dog does not really wear these very often. I think I'll take them with if we take him when we go skiing. Or if I take him on a walk and I feel like it's really cold out. For now, I'm just going to keep them just because they fit there, and I do sometimes use them. The next cabinet is mostly stuff for the pool. I have this vinegar, which I use actually to clean things. My dog has this problem. He's getting older, so he has accidents in the house, and a lot of times he will have accidents down here. But I think I'm gonna actually move this with all of my cleaning supplies because I feel like that makes more sense. And honestly, he has not had an accident down here recently. Pool towels, water, an extra jug of water in there. Basketball for the pool. We actually don't use very many of these things for the pool anymore, but I'm just gonna keep them just because we have space, and as long as we have the pool, it's kind of nice to have these on hand just in case, even though we don't use them regularly. This potting mix should, you know what? No, I kept it in here because this is what I use in my indoor plants. So I'm just gonna leave that there. This thing, it's supposed to repel mosquitoes. I don't know exactly how it works, but it does not work. So therefore, I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that. And then this is just the pump for our pool toys. Oh, and these are just towels for dirty jobs. Okay, this next cabinet, oh my goodness gracious. This feels like a mess. That is trash. Okay, so most of this stuff is just like stuff my husband uses, or different, like this is carpet cleaner, just random cleaning supplies, bug sprays for indoors, etc. So nothing there. So this cabinet, the top shelf is all pool supplies, which is my husband's domain, so I'm not going to go through any of that. And then down here, I have a new tetherball that we still have yet to put on the tetherball pole. And then this basket is just stuff for my daughter's garden. These are actually, you know what? Maybe I'll move these into the kitchen. These we would use to make marshmallows over the fire pit. We haven't done that in a really long time, but these are basically just reusable skewers, which I could use in the kitchen for other things. So that's that. Now this drawer, this is mostly my husband stuff too. These are my daughter's gardening gloves, work gloves. You know, I'm gonna put that down with her other gardening stuff. Okay, I'm gonna go through these drawers quickly because I know there's not much. This is just a leather cleaning kit for our sofas. This is all our Wii stuff that, I don't know, I could probably ask my son to go through this again, but last time I asked him, he said he wanted to keep everything. And then these two drawers are empty, so nothing in those. Oh, also, I didn't say it, but in that drawer over there where there were like tools and stuff, I didn't really see anything that I personally could declutter because it is pretty much just stuff my husband uses and my daughter's gardening gloves. So let's see what is down here. Yeah, I don't think there is anything to declutter. This could be relocated. Yeah, I want to put this in my bedroom. And then this is just sentimental from our beagle. This was one of her favorite toys, and then this was her little baby blankie and her collar. So it smells bad. It smells like a dog. Okay, these are VHS tapes, which are just home movie type VHS tapes. These are, yeah, I want to try to figure out how to digitize all of this stuff. That is for future Joy to worry about. That is not for Joy right now, but this is all of our these mini DVs. Or what were they called? What were they called? I forget. It was the old school way that we filmed our children so that we would have home movies. And then these are some DVD home movies. And then these are just all physical photos that I want to keep. Yeah, keep that. And then those are just some photo books that we had made. Okay, and here I think it's pretty much just sentimental items. Yep. Scrapbooks, photo albums. Also, these are also photo albums. Yeah, it's basically just sentimental items, so I don't want to get rid of any of that, at least not today. Okay, these drawers are usually empty, but I put these picture frames in here because I replaced them, so it was kind of like a domino effect. I replaced them with these picture frames, which used to be in my kitchen nook, but when I redid my kitchen nook, I didn't want to incorporate these in the design. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and get rid of these picture frames. I will remove the photos from it, but I don't foresee myself using these picture frames in the future, so I'm gonna get rid of those. This one's empty. This one, these are dead batteries that will eventually need to go to the chemical recycling center. These are just DVDs, CDs that we want to keep, and some extra cords there. So nothing from there, and these are just batteries, so those have not been used, so this is just where we store all of the batteries. And this cabinet down here has nothing in it on this side, so we just need to look at this side. Okay, what is in here? What is in here? Oh, just a couple of extra blankets, 3 to be exact, that's fine. And then this is a DVD player, which I guess we're holding on to that for now. I think it's the only DVD player we own, so I guess I will just leave that. So I guess I don't really have it very much. So that is that. Okay, I was able to get that done in 20 minutes, so that is awesome. And I honestly didn't get rid of very much stuff, but I wasn't anticipating getting rid of a lot of stuff anyway. But I did get rid of this mosquito repeller that doesn't work. I found a piece of trash. And then I have these 3 picture frames that I'm gonna get rid of. And honestly, as I was thinking about it, with this cabinet down here where I have a bunch of kind of sentimental type items, probably half of this is my children's artwork. And so I do need to ask them if they want to keep any of it. Now, I did make kind of a scrapbook for each one of them with all of the cute artwork, the things that I thought were cute artwork as they were growing up. But I have some larger pieces of artwork, and so they're very difficult to store. So at some time in the future, I may want to get rid of those unless my kids really want them, because ultimately it's gonna be up to them one day to decide if they want to keep their childhood artwork. I think I am going to do that. I'm gonna ask each one of them if they want to keep their artwork from when they were children. And if not, I will go ahead and get rid of all of those artwork pieces, which is kind of sad. But truthfully, I don't know, as an adult, I don't think I'd want my artwork from when I was a kid. Okay, my friends, that is all for today's video. I do hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope it brought you some motivation or inspiration to get a space cleaned and decluttered in your home today. And as always, I do really appreciate you watching my videos all the way until the end, and I will see you next time. Bye.